I do not want to watch this.
Oh, you don't like it?
It's Batman and Superman fighting each other.
I know, it's great.
The
direction is absolutely perfect. It is the best possible thing that you could watch with both Batman and Superman in it.
But it's got a jar of pee in it.
It does have a jar of pee.
It has a jar of pee.
And that's what makes it brilliant.
I don't think I can work with you anymore.
Well, you see, the jar of pee is a metaphor
for the movie?
Well, it looks like it's been soaking in pee.
I need some. Well,
I have a better idea.
Okay.
We could watch another thing that has Batman and Superman fighting each other for a few minutes.
Can we?
And it's awesome.
Is it?
It was made in the 90s.
Oh, the 90s. Nothing bad came from the 90s. Just let it go. Let it go.
I don't know. Oh, there's some comics I have that are from the 90s.
Still better than the New 52.
That's a debate for another day. But how
it's
about...
It's not a debate.
How about...
It's a fact.
How about we watch the Batman Superman movie?
The one that's in theaters? The one that that has a jar of pee in it?
Yes. No. Or we could watch the animated one that's like half as long. So yes, hi. We're the people.
Hey, Internet.
Who talk about the things and the stuff.
With our shiny red shirts.
Shiny red shirts.
I don't know why the camera does this to our shirts.
Yeah.
Like whenever
red
we wear the color
red.
red.
Yeah, red is a high contrast color, and cameras have trouble dealing with it.
Whatever.
But well, I mean, you've got two high contrast colors on your shirt.
Yeah, but the yellow of the Hardy Star is not.
Yeah. I'm going with a more toned down. We call it Zack Snyder red. Well, no, we're gonna watch the.
There can't be anything bright in his universe.
No, of course not.
God, all right, you know what? Fuck it. We'll get to the movie. We're gonna talk about that piece of shit for a second. Have you seen it?
I have not.
You have not seen it. Okay.
I've seen the reviews. That's about
it. I've
seen some clips.
I went and saw it just because I kind of feel like I have an obligation to.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. It's not as bad as Man of Steel. But I don't know if that's just because Man of Steel already happened.
It's already lowered the bar?
I think so, yeah. Like, if there was no Man of Steel, and then then Batman v Superman came out...
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I really don't know what would happen.
Oh, man.
It's kind of like how I feel about The Dark Knight Rises. I don't really like The Dark Knight Rises, but I think that's just because it came after The Dark Knight, which I really don't like.
Oh, I love The Dark Knight.
And I mean, that's okay, that's a video we can do. We will save that because...
We'll stick a pin in that one.
Because I think that's one we should do.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let me talk about the positives for a second.
Okay.
Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Actually, really good.
That's what I hear.
Well, I've kind of got the Kevin Smith outlook on Ben Affleck, where like I would like to see him do anything. Yeah. I actually am a big fan of Ben Affleck.
I actually didn't start liking Ben Affleck very much until the 5 minutes he was in Smokin' Aces. Which I didn't like that. I didn't like that movie all that much, but for some reason, something about his performance in that movie made me go, "Huh, he's actually a good actor. I should pay attention more often." I don't know why it was that movie that made it click for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, I liked him. Like, I first kind of took notice of him in the Kevin Smith movies.
Yeah.
I saw him in Reindeer Games. Like, people give that movie a lot of crap, but I actually really enjoyed Reindeer Games.
Yeah, Reindeer Games is one I saw.
But I think he's a good actor. I think he did. Now, here's the thing. Any problems with him in that movie, I don't think was his fault. I think it was strictly Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Zack
Snyder did Reindeer Games?
You've already got me. You already got me up here.
We talked about Batgirl a little bit before we hit record. Another video as well.
Anyway, we were talking about pros. Ben Affleck does a great Bruce Wayne / Batman. Although I really don't think you get a chance to see his Bruce Wayne that much.
Okay.
Like, you see him once at a party, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Him as Batman, though, The action scenes were cool.
Okay.
Except for the fact that he kills everyone.
I was about to say, except for the fact that he was playing the Punisher instead of Batman.
Man, okay. There's the major scene that a lot of people bring up when they're talking about him killing stuff. And are you okay with me spoiling this stuff?
Okay. I don't care.
It's a dream sequence or like a prophetic vision. Okay. It's not really getting too clear. Why
can't the guy just? Why can't I just tell a story?
But well, I'm not. But there's a scene where he's driving the Batmobile and he's chasing after Luthor's goons who have a hunk of kryptonite because he wants the kryptonite and Luthor's not supposed to have the kryptonite. But he flat out murders people. Like, I mean, one point, like, there's a truck, I mean, there's something to be said about self-defense because the truck has a Gatling gun on it.
Yeah.
So Batman shoots them first, basically, and blows up the truck. There's no way anyone survived that. And, say what you will about self-defense, it's fucking Batman.
Yeah.
He's supposed to, have a way around that.
Isn't just to ask the question asked a million times already, isn't Batman's motivation in this movie that he doesn't like Superman because Superman killed people?
Yeah, I mean, the movie starts off right at the end of Man of Steel where where Superman and Zod are fighting, and there's like this big scene. Apparently, I haven't gone back to watch Man of Steel to compare it, and I'm not going to. But they fight inside the Wayne Tower. Oh, and that's another thing. Gotham and Metropolis are sister cities. They're separated by like a river in this movie.
Yeah.
Which.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. I just in my mind, in reading DC Comics for as long as I did, Metropolis is here, and Gotham is like way over here. Like to me, they were always on like opposite sides.
Yeah,
of the
I'm relatively new to the world of DC Comics. Has the geography been well established?
I mean, all right. Well,
I always assume
you're reading New 52, which I refuse to read because it's garbage. But prior to that, I mean, I'm sure Gotham and Metropolis, I think they both have been shown to have like oceanfront property.
Okay.
Which really pretty much any city probably in comics has oceanfront property regardless of where it is.
I figure the way I kind of figured it was like Gotham was up in New Yorkish area.
You would think.
And then Metropolis was maybe a little further down.
They're presented so differently. Metropolis is bright and sunny, Gotham is dark and dank. So I always assumed like one was East Coast, one was West Coast. It's not important. Anyway.
Then there's Coast City, the most creatively named DC city.
I never even thought of that.
That was my first thought.
Coast, it's got oceanfront property, every city.
That was my very first thought when I heard Coast City. It was like, oh, because it's on the coast. I get it.
Well, Superman and Zod destroy Wayne Tower, or a Wayne Tower, I don't know. Kills everyone inside. There's a guy who gets like his legs cut off. Batman or Bruce Wayne is trying to help him. Blah blah blah. That's his initial hatred of Superman.
Okay, yeah.
And then it just goes full batshit crazy because he's like, if there's 1% chance that he's bad, we have to consider it as a certainty. And when I heard that line, all I could think was only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Right.
But
oh man.
I mean, in the comics, Batman has had. He actually made like plans to take out the Justice League just in case.
Yeah, they've had like entire story arcs about Batman's just in case.
It's a JLA story called Tower of Babel. It's freaking amazing, but he didn't use them because he didn't need to. I mean, it's not a 1% chance. Anyway, I was supposed to be talking about the pros, so that's one thing. We'll get back to Batman. Wonder Woman is kind of cool. She's still got her costume's not terrible. It's not the classic costume.
It's hard to tell through the pee that
the filter. Yeah. Oh, no. There was actually the filter they put on this movie. I wonder, like, it would look grainy at times. I thought, like, did he not film this in high def?
Yeah. Wasn't that a thing actually with the previous one, Man of Steel, where somebody went and removed the filter, and the movie, as far as aesthetics went, the movie looked like 100 times better?
I don't know. I saw where like people had like brightened up the colors and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does look way more like.
It might have actually been the trailer for this movie.
I don't know. I mean, Superman still has that horrible costume. But like you take the most iconic costume imagery in American history, and you change it and make it dull.
Oh, that's I can explain that one.
Oh, I like to hear those.
They wanted to make it a movie.
They did in the comics too, though.
You got to change it.
You don't.
Well, no. You have to, because if you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. And as we all know, moving forward means making arbitrary changes that don't matter.
You're being sarcastic, right?
Yes, I'm being very sarcastic.
All right, good. Anyway, Wonder Woman was to me was the highlight of the movie.
Yeah.
Because her action scenes are awesome, and they actually look like something that she would do. Like Wonder Woman killing people, she would kill people.
Yeah.
She has in the comics. It's rare.
She's a warrior.
She's a warrior, yeah. The costume's okay. I think it still hit all the marks. It still was just too, drab, but just like every fucking thing in this movie.
Yeah.
And that's about it. That's all the good I can say about this fucking movie. And there was one joke where Batman says shit. He goes, oh shit. Like when Doomsday shows up, Batman it's like, oh, I'm gonna fucking die. It's the look on his face. Alright, let's go back to Batman. He looks fat. The costume...
Fat man.
I understand that the costume is not 100% terrible.
Yeah.
And I understand that they're trying to invoke The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
And that's Frank Miller's style. But that doesn't necessarily translate well to the big screen.
You're saying a visual style in a comic does not always translate well to real life.
Well, here's the thing. It's I'm not gonna say it has to be picture perfect. I'm not gonna say it has to be picture perfect.
I know.
But Superman needs his red trunks.
Yeah.
But doing the Frank Miller draws his an older Batman, kind of this big bulky character, and when your actor is not a big bulky character like Ben Affleck, it doesn't. Putting that big bulky suit on him doesn't look right. I want Michael Ironside. Well, a younger Michael Ironside.
Actually,
yes, he did. He did
voice Batman in
an episode.
It
was an episode
thing that they did in the Batman.
It was season 4 episode where a bunch of kids are telling different stories of Batman.
That's it.
And one girl tells basically The Dark Knight Returns, and Michael Ironside, and that's pretty much hit that voice. And then I thought about it, oh, he would make a great Batman.
Michael Ironside would be awesome.
And Darkseid, but that's just because he did the voice of Darkseid. Anyway, that I think was a mistake. They should have made the suit fit more to Ben Affleck's frame.
Yeah.
And let's talk about Zack Snyder and why he hates parents. So, okay, I've always said the biggest problem with Man of Steel was Pa Kent.
Yeah.
Pa Kent, young Clark saves a bus of I cannot talk. I'm sorry. A bus full of kids from a river. One kid sees him, and that kid's parents come to the Kents, and they're like, no, he was just seeing things. That's not what happened. And then Pa Kent tells Clark, you have to be more careful. And I can go along with that. I can go along with be more careful. But Clark says, well, what should I have done? Let them die? To which he says, maybe. No! Yeah. No, you don't say maybe. Any answer other than no. Oh God, no. I'm extremely proud of you, son. Let's go get ice cream.
Yeah.
Is the wrong fucking answer.
I'm a little deaf now in this ear.
You get Pa Kent wrong, you get Clark Kent wrong, you get Superman wrong.
Yeah.
And then we go to this movie where you find out Ma Kent is no better. It's in the trailer, she says, be their hero, Clark, or don't. You don't owe them anything. You owe them everything. You owe this planet everything. Otherwise you would be dead.
Yeah.
And this is the one no one really is talking about, is the Waynes. Bruce Wayne's parents.
The Waynes, yeah.
Like any fucking Batman movie, you've got to show them being killed.
That's why Batman and Robin is the best Batman movie, because we didn't watch them die.
But it's we've seen it. We know it's happened. Indigenous pygmy people in Africa or the Congo or wherever the fuck they are. I don't know. I don't know geography. They know They know the origin story of Batman. So normally it's I'll go to Batman Begins when we see that scene in that movie.
Yeah.
The guy comes out with the gun. Thomas Wayne is like, hey, look, it's all good. Take our wallet. Take the jewelry. No one has to get hurt.
Yeah.
The gunman gets shaky and kills them.
Yeah.
This one, the guy comes out with the gun, and Thomas Wayne goes like full on berserker and tries to punch the guy. And so of course he shoots him and kills him. It's,
yeah.
Oh, God. And then I'm going to stop talking about this in a minute, but I've been holding this in. Then there's Lex Luthor, who they had to. I feel like there's a line in the movie where they kind of mention that he's like Lex Luthor Jr., which I think was like their way of kind of trying to explain why he is not at all Lex Luthor. Yeah. It's like someone told him like, "Hey, look, this is basically the Dark Knight of this trilogy or whatever we're doing. So be Heath Ledger." And he doesn't like.
Oh man.
You think? All right. Here's a test. Describe Lex Luthor to me, not visually, but personality wise, and a little bit of visuals too. Why not?
Okay, yeah, stern businessman, bald. He's cold and calculating, and also very smart.
Would you at any point imagine Lex Luthor peeing in a jar and leaving it for somebody?
No.
That happens in this movie.
I heard.
This is a thing that happens.
This a friend of mine was trying to tell me about the scene, and I wanted him to stop joking and tell me what he actually did. And this went on for like 5 minutes of me going, no, really, what was his plan? Stop screwing with me.
He's like, oh, well, I gotta do this, and I gotta do that. Oh.
Heath Ledger's Joker wouldn't have even done that.
No, it's so...
Because he likes strapping bombs to things.
It's so just out of character.
Yeah.
And this is something I'm gonna have like. This is a problem I have with pretty much any interpretation of Lex Luthor has been. Any interpretation Lex Luthor has had in live action media.
Yeah.
And that's that he gets caught.
Yeah.
To me, like Lex Luthor should be that behind the scenes mysterious figure. You know, like sure, Superman and Lois Lane and probably most of America knows like this guy's a bad guy, but nobody can prove it.
Yeah.
You know, every interpretation of Lex Luthor, whether it be the Donner, the Brian Singer that did Returns? I think it was.
Yeah, Brian Singer.
Brian Singer, or Zack Snyder, he has to be at the forefront and be like, I'm a bad guy!
Yeah, I actually, I don't look on the original Superman movie as very fondly because the Lex Luthor performance drove me crazy.
It's not perfect, but I mean, those are the best Superman movies. Yeah. I like Returns, but it's flawed. It's heavily flawed. It got the tone I thought.
I like Returns as well.
I like Returns, but it's flawed. What else can I bitch about this fucking movie? There's more. It's going to come to me later.
How about, are you excited for the Justice League movie?
Fuck no. Oh, Justice League! Yes! Yeah. Let's talk about the YouTube...
That might bring up something.
Let's talk about the YouTube videos in this movie.
Oh, goodness.
So, Wonder Woman shows up. She's like... The reason she's in this fucking movie is so that she can, like, basically encounter Batman and say, like, Luthor has a picture that belongs to me, and it's a picture of her from World War II. Okay, yeah, that's kind of cool. But along with all this info that Bruce Wayne has stolen from Lex Luthor's servers or whatever, we find, like, there's 3 basically YouTube videos that he sends to Wonder Woman. One is Cyborg becoming Cyborg.
Okay.
And it seems to be following the New 52 origin where he's made a cyborg via a mother box. It's not flat out said, but it's pretty fucking obvious.
Okay.
Aquaman jump scaring a camera and then swimming away. Which, everyone's seen the photos of him. He's got long black hair, but I've heard they've already announced that he's going to be blonde in the movie, when they do his movie. And The Flash. Let's talk about The Flash for a second.
Okay. I like the Flash TV show.
I refuse to watch it.
It's fun.
But I've kind of been... I think I might just despite Zack Snyder now. Because he said the reason that the TV Flash is not in the movie is because he doesn't fit well in our universe. Fuck you. Now I'm going to watch that movie out of spite.
Because the TV show Flash, he knows how to do this.
It's not right. Oh, and they've already announced that they're reshooting scenes for the Suicide Squad to make it funnier and more lighthearted. Because that's the movie you want to do that with, not a fucking Superman movie.
Yeah.
So the Flash first shows up in this movie. Batman has that weird prophetic dream I told you about, where that's the one where he's killing people and you see parademons, and it's obviously implying Darkseid and Apocalypse.
Yeah.
He wakes up, and then a big crack in time shows up, and the Flash comes out in like armor and a visor that like lifts up off his head, and lightning's flashing everywhere, and it's invoking Crisis on Infinite Earths when that kind of did happen, only not weird fucking armor and visors and shit. But then later you see the YouTube video of him, and he's in normal street clothes in like a gas station. Somebody sticking up the person behind the counter, and there's that quick zoom boom. You see like the blur, and the guy's gun is gone. He's on the ground or whatever.
Yeah.
Only like instead of probably how I assume that would be in the TV show, where it's just boom boom. Like when he does it, like arcing bolts of lightning go everywhere, and it's just like, dude, okay, it's cool, you got super speed, but you're gonna fucking kill somebody with that. So that's dumb. And then there's the whole like how Batman and Superman stopped fighting.
Oh, I've heard this story.
How they basically realize that they both have the same name. Their mothers have the same name.
Yeah.
I don't hate it like a lot of people do. It's silly.
It's
not like I don't know.
It's kind of a fun like trivia thing. Oh, they both have mothers named Martha.
Well, there
I don't know that I'd make it a plot point
I know, right?
of a movie.
there was like a fan theory, and I kind of wish they had done this, like at least in an Elseworld story or something. That it was that the gunman that killed Thomas and Martha Wayne, he did it because he was hired to do it, like a mob or something. He was specifically sent to kill, not to rob. But Martha Wayne survived and faked her death to protect Bruce, moved to the country, married Jonathan Kent, and raised Superman.
Oh my gosh!
Like that's kind of cool. I kind of wish they had done that.
That'd be kind of neat.
If they actually did it, I probably wouldn't like it. But
there's some heavy comic-y bullshit.
and then there was
reading comic wikis.
And then Doomsday shows up at the end, and that's just fucking weird. It's a big fight.
Are you sure it was Doomsday? Because it looked like one of the trolls from Lord of the Rings. Just one of the trolls from Lord of the Rings.
He never I could talk about Doomsday for a long time too, but I'm actually honest to God, it really doesn't matter at this point. And I'm kind of sick of talking about it.
Okay.
So now that I've vented furiously, let's
do an in-depth analysis on every single episode of every show involved in the Arrowverse.
Fuck it. I'm out.
Or
fuck you. Fuck all. I'm done with this shit.
Or we could just watch the Batman Superman movie.
This is my house. You leave.
How about the Batman Superman movie instead?
Yeah, let's do that. I've seen it before. You seen it before?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I wore out a VHS tape of this movie.
Oh man.
It took me forever, actually, when I was a kid, to realize that it was episodes of the Superman show, because I hadn't been watching the Superman show.
Oh really?
Yeah. I just wanted to know why they were looked like there were supposed to be commercial breaks in this animated movie.
But
I've
seen it a few times. It's
I like it.
I'm interested to talk because I remember there was a few things I think I disliked about it, but it's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm kind of curious to see how
it holds up.
Yeah, there we go. That's words, brain, no.
And we're going to exclusively filter it through Batman v Superman.
I will. I will punch you in the dick.
Doesn't sound pleasant.
All right, let's do this.
Cool.
So that was awesome.
Yeah.
And that was, like, we're not even done yet.
Yeah, we're gonna do in between bits, which we decided like 2 minutes ago.
So this isn't just a movie. This was 3 episodes of the Superman animated series. I don't know if we ever even mentioned what we were watching.
Much. A couple times. You were screaming. I don't know if you heard.
Don't get me started.
But yeah, just this is bringing back so many nostalgic feelings for me. Because I wore out a VHS of this when I was a kid. This was one of my favorite movies.
Well, the characters, they look like the characters.
Mm-hmm.
They act like the characters.
Mm-hmm.
It feels right.
You see...
It feels oh so right.
You see, there's also levity. This is the thing. Contrast is important. Grumpy faces only mean something if you have a smiley face to compare them to.
Well, I mean, no, not always. I mean, there are whole movies called dramas that are...
Well,
but not in a comic book movie!
In these dramas.
Unless you're the Crow.
In these dramas, you will see somebody smile.
Fair enough.
Which makes it all the more sad when they frown. Because of contrast. Oh, man, but... I actually never really watched the Superman show when I was a kid. I mean, I saw it here and there. But I followed Batman. And I actually, when I was a kid and we had this on VHS, I didn't know it was...
part of the TV show?
I didn't know it was part of the TV show. But I'm loving it so far. I love... I don't know how accurate the characters are to the comics and whatnot. And that's accuracy has never really been much of a thing for me as long as they fit and work and are likable in the thing that I'm watching.
As long as they are true to the character.
Yeah.
I think is what's always been mattered to me.
Yeah. And I love Lois Lane.
Yes. Yeah, this is a great Lois.
Yeah, this she keeps giving Clark shit. And I might have to go back and watch the Superman series just because if it's an entire series of Lois Lane being an asshole to Clark.
There's some great stuff in that show. This came out when they kind of did this weird art rehaul of the Batman show to kind of match the art style of the Superman show.
Yeah, they toned down the dark deco of the Batman show.
Like, Batman doesn't have the yellow symbol on his chest anymore. And I think it actually kind of works in a lot of ways. Like, Batman looks darker and a little more intimidating and scarier.
Yeah. He looks like even more of a contrast to Superman.
But... they also did some updates to other characters, like the Joker, who is very prominent in this movie. Mm-hmm. From what we watched, the Joker has stolen an ancient, like, Chinese dragon sculpture that's green, so obviously it's kryptonite.
Of course. Jade does not, from what I understand, Jade is not a stone that exists in DC.
Oh, no. If
it is a green stone,
it's kryptonite.
It is kryptonite.
So
there's a lot of it on Earth.
He steals this solely because. Why does the Joker know it's kryptonite? It's never explained.
Because he's the Joker.
He's the Joker.
Anytime, as far as I am concerned, in the animated series of Batman at the very least, anytime Joker knows something, the answer to why he knows it is because he's the
Joker. But he goes up to Lex Luthor and he's like, "Hey, pay me $1 million and I'll kill Superman with this." Mm-hmm. Luthor's like, "All right." Yeah. But I can't be connected to this in any way, which is, exactly how Lex Luthor should be.
Yeah.
He did not, being the maniacal villain who pees in a jar.
I'm wondering if maybe Snyder and company saw this and decided to take the Joker and Lex Luthor and make them the same character.
I was thinking maybe like they saw this and it was just like, well, we can't top this at all.
Yeah, so let's make something worse. But no, they fight Superman and Batman. They fight a little bit in this.
And it's awesome.
And it's interesting.
It's interesting.
Because it's two characters who don't really agree with each other on an ideological level.
They still do that thing, though, where Superman gets all high and mighty and he's like, I don't abide vigilantism in my city.
Yeah.
Like, well, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. And they're trading bites and there's some joviality, is that a word?
Yeah,
and it's fun. Like, Superman uses his X-ray vision.
He
to
sees
look
that it's
Batman's
Bruce Wayne.
house.
And then Batman puts a tracker on his cape to find out that he's Clark
And
Kent.
then follows Superman
That's
home.
so
and
good!
then is looking at him through the binoculars. And when he sees that Clark sees him, he goes... he waves at him, and it's great.
Oh, and that was the end of part 1.
Yep.
Oh, I dug it. I can't wait to watch part 2 now.
Yep.
Shall we get to it?
Yes, let's get to it.
All right.
I'm confused, Kent. See, I've lived in Metropolis most of my life, and I can't figure out how some yokel from Smallville is suddenly getting every hot story in town.
Well, Lois, the truth is, I'm actually Superman in disguise, and I only pretend to be a journalist in order to hear about disasters as they happen and then squeeze you out of the byline.
You're a sick man, Kent.
You asked.
Okay, so that's part 2 down.
Yep, it's good.
That was...
I'm remembering just how much I loved these shows when I was growing up. Even like I said, even though I didn't really watch Superman, I did like what I saw, and I remember like every line because I wore this thing out.
I think my favorite parts of this are just like when Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne are actually interacting.
Yeah,
because they know at this point they know one is the other, and it's just like they're beating.
And Clark's trying to be cool, but Bruce is being a dick.
It really is.
It's great. I love it. Kevin Conroy is my favorite as both Bruce Wayne and Batman because he found a way to balance somehow being a smug asshole but also being likable. That's really hard to do because smugness is my least favorite quality that anyone could ever have, but he made it work.
Yeah, it's great.
I also love the interactions between the Joker and Lex.
Oh yeah.
That scene where they're trying to renegotiate the deal after the events of episode 1 happened, or was it earlier this episode?
It doesn't matter.
I see. It was all a movie to me, so I'm having trouble remembering where the episode lines are. But anyway, Joker tried to take out Superman. Batman interfered, and ruined it, and Joker and Lex had that deal. Lex is not happy. So, like while they're sort of renegotiating this, after Lex had his henchwoman shoot up Joker's place,
the abandoned amusement park. Always.
Oh, of course. Every town's got to have an abandoned amusement park just in case Joker.
Exactly. Where else would the Joker stay?
Right. But I love they're having this conversation about about their deal, and in the background was it Lucy or Mercy? I can't.
Mercy.
Okay, the way
Mercy Graves.
The way he pronounces it, I can't actually tell what he's saying. But Harley and Mercy are just beating the living crap out of each other in the background while they're sitting there talking. It's hilarious.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm loving this. I'm loving this so far. Well, not so far. I mean, I've always had. But anyway, yeah, this is good stuff. Thoughts on episode 2?
It's the middle lull kind of. I mean, we have an action scene where the Joker kidnaps Lois Lane.
Mm-hmm.
Pushes Bruce Wayne off a building.
Yeah, middle parts are always piece maneuvering. Maneuvering the pieces toward the climax, which is where we're going next.
Yeah. But
this is damn entertaining piece maneuvering.
Oh, yeah. No, it's still great.
Yeah.
I don't really have much more to say that we didn't say already, so let's get back to it.
Yep.
137 million?
Yes, and if I don't pay up, I'll go to jail for tax evasion. I'm crazy enough to take on Batman, but the IRS, no, thank you.
Done. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, love that stuff.
After Garbage Pail Kids, I needed this.
Yeah. Those Garbage Pail Kids.
So this had the big finale,
big climax. Awesome.
Where the Joker flies a giant...
just basically a giant flying wing. Looks like a big old boomerang.
Kind of, yeah. But that within a minute, they spray painted it to look like a smile,
which required Harley. And as far as we know, just Harley is doing this on a stepladder with a spray can. Yeah, with that industrial spray paint. and she's basically painting these black rings around the entire body.
I mean, it was good work.
Yeah,
it was clean. The lines were even.
She did good stuff.
But
it only took a few minutes.
But they take it, they fly, and they blow up a bunch of buildings in Metropolis.
Yes. Joker's motivation here is pretty awesome. It's not, I'm just going to be blowing stuff up because I'm evil.
I'm getting back at Luthor.
Yeah, he's spiting Luthor because, they're butting heads.
But I want to talk about this.
Uh-oh.
Because they blow up a bunch of buildings.
Oh, yes, they do.
And at no point was there some sarcastic guy going, "It's in the financial district, so it's uninhabited," like in Batman v Superman.
Yeah, we don't know if the buildings were occupied or not. It's at night.
This is a crazy bad guy blowing up buildings.
Yes.
This is not the good guy causing a shit ton of collateral damage.
Yes. Well, you see, in Zack Snyder logic, I don't know if you saw this or not, but he defended the death toll in...
I did hear about this.
In Man of Steel.
By
pointing to Star Wars Force Awakens. Well, in that movie,
they blew up planets.
They blew up planets. That's billions of people. If you just look at the math, then that's way worse. And you see math.
Oh.
We don't. There's a reason that we use math for math and not for stories. Stories have context.
But it's...
In The Force Awakens, that's a bunch of bad guys.
Blowing up planets. It's not like Luke Skywalker while he was fighting...
Yeah, Luke Skywalker wasn't ignoring those planets to fight the rebels or whatever.
It's just...
There's a thing called establishing that your villains are dicks. That's what that was.
Even if you go to other properties, like...
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's take that exact end of Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
You replace Superman with any other fucking superhero.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not okay when it's Superman.
Yeah. Apparently, this is a rumor, and it's unsubstantiated as far as I know, but it would have been at least a little bit helpful in the movie. That... there's a rumor that in the original script for Man of Steel, Superman was getting his ass kicked because he was trying to save people.
And that would have been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been great.
Because other than kryptonite, his only weakness is that he cares about people.
That's utter bullshit in those movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. And you know what? I don't give Zack Snyder that much credit.
No.
Or whoever, no, I'm sorry, no, he didn't write it. Dave Goyer wrote it.
Yeah.
Who is, that guy's a dick too, isn't it? Like,
he said some pretty dumb shit every once in a while. He's the guy Goyer is the person I'm thinking of. He occasionally writes a good script.
He's the guy who was like, the only reason they made She-Hulk was so the Hulk had somebody to fuck.
Yeah.
Or who here cares about Superman and everyone who raised her? Or who here who's had sex cares? Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
He's a douche. I don't know what else he's written, to be honest.
Oh, man. I actually looked him up not too long ago because I wanted to say I'd seen movies written by him that were good. But
Were they comic book movies?
I don't think so.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't remember. But, making the comic books stuff, you might want to care about the source material a little bit. Like these people who made the Batman Superman movie, or who made the Superman TV show.
So good. So good.
Oh yeah, good, great stuff. The climax was terrifying if you actually stop and think, and by not addressing it, because they could have. This is a kid show. They could have said, "Oh yeah, it's nighttime. Everybody's going home," but they didn't. You're not thinking about it unless you actively sit there and think, "Oh my goodness, they're not. There could be people in those buildings." But since they didn't go out of their way to say one way or another, it's kind of up in the air. And that kind of makes it interesting and still lets Joker be the credible threat that he is. Oh man.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
The only downside I think you mentioned was the forced love story between Lois and Bruce.
It's almost like there were supposed to be some episodes in the middle where they actually built that romance. But as far as we saw, and I know they're working with episodic material, and only 3 of them for this particular arc. But I mean, they went on a few dates, and then like I think it was at the beginning of the 3rd episode, or maybe toward the end of the 2nd one, where they are a serious item.
Yeah, it's like they're like she's ready to move to Gotham.
Yeah, going to move to Gotham, which is, I mean, I don't see why it's a big deal. She just has to cross the river, right?
I don't have much more to say about it, to be honest.
Oh man, I don't have much more to say about it either. It's just
it's always hard to talk about the good stuff rather than the bad stuff.
I miss this kind of thing though. These kind of shows. They're so good, and I know in some ways they are still around, but I just wish they were as prevalent as they were then. Because growing up, this is going to be when I was a kid, kind of thing. You couldn't escape the DC animated universe.
Oh, it was great.
It was like smaller then.
Basically,
but it was everywhere.
Like the way Marvel is with their movies was DC with their cartoons.
Yeah, I actually wish Warner Brothers would give up on the movies because they have demonstrated they suck at it, and just focus on the TV stuff. The DC animated universe is awesome, and the Arrowverse is pretty good too.
I will fucking punch you in the dick.
Well, if you can wade through the forced drama.
Why don't you just call it Green fucking Arrow? That's what it is. It's
Green
Arrow.
They should. I do say that this is one reason why I actually do like The Flash a lot, because they're not shy of the cheesiness. Arrow, it's cheesy.
No, I mean that's fine.
And they embrace it.
That's fine.
And I do kind of wish Arrow would sort of embrace that, call it the Green Arrow. I mean, throughout the first season they call him the Hood, and then they finally start calling him the Arrow. And I do wish they wouldn't.
Why do they have a problem? Why do they never have a problem with their characters being called? I'm surprised the Flash is called the Flash and not Blur or Scarlet Speedster.
Oh goodness. I don't know. Even though, like, if you're watching just like the content of each episode, they're clearly not shy of the source material. And they clearly have some respect for it, at least some respect for it. By calling it the Arrow and stuff like that, they are kind of showing that they want to distance themselves from the source material a little bit. Like when the Bryan Singer X-Men movies, when they were all wearing black costumes. It's that kind of thing. And I don't like it, but I do still kind of like those shows. But those shows are doing a markedly better job. Whether you like the shows or not, they are doing a much better job of what Warner Brothers is trying to do with the movies.
Yeah, I mean, I won't argue that. I'm still not going to watch them.
Oh, no, I'm not going to make it.
Fuck them. I don't want to. It's decent. I'm still angry about everything.
Yeah. I hear you. But I would say that as far as the TV efforts are concerned, DC is doing great with that. But they just keep pouring money into these giant flop movies. I mean,
Batman v Superman had a 70% drop after the first week.
And then 90 after the second week?
I didn't hear, but I mean, they've already said that it's not going to surpass Man of Steel.
Yeah. And that's good.
I mean, it's still the Transformer effect, though. Everyone's going to see it. Going to make a shit ton of movies, so they're going to keep making it because that's all they care about. All they care about is the money. Unfortunately.
Apparently, Zack Snyder is going to start shooting the Justice League movie soon. Yeah.
People made a petition to get him off of that. I mean, I'll give Sony props. They made some shitty Spider-Man movies, and they're like, all right, look.
Yeah.
Marvel, can you
help us with this? Yeah. I tell you what DC should do. I don't think they're in a position to do this because Warner Brothers is kind of tightened the grip since Marvel Studios happened. But they should try to set up their own movie studio like Marvel did.
Who?
DC?
Well, it's Warner Brothers.
Didn't Warner Brothers own all the DC stuff?
They do, but this is what happened with Marvel. Marvel made their own entertainment division, but way before they did that, they sold the rights to Spider-Man and X-Men to different companies. DC never did that.
Oh, okay.
With DC and Warner Brothers, they always owned the rights to that. They were like, if they were ever going to make any of these movies, it was going to be Warner Brothers that makes it.
Okay.
So that's what happened there, and the whole Marvel selling the rights, that was before they were bought by a parent company, Disney.
Yeah.
So.
And then Disney, with that Disney money, they were able to get a lot of them back. But,
well, I don't know. I mean, they got Spider-Man back, kind of, but it's more of like a mutual, like...
Well, yeah, because I think Fox still has the X-Men.
And Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Sony is starting to relinquish some control of Spider-Man.
Well, they've worked out like a pact, I think. Like, basically, like, we're going to make this movie together, and, not Civil War, but I think Sony is making the Spider-Man movie in conjunction with Marvel. I don't know how true any of this is. I think pulling all this out of my ass. But it's going to be like a shared profit sort of situation.
Okay.
Like shared...
I'll take it.
Shared, it's a great idea. Yeah. Fox, I mean, I hate to say it's too late to bring the X-Men into the Marvel Universe.
I don't. The X-Men is so big that they could be a universe unto themselves. So I'm actually okay with that.
They are a universe unto themselves. I mean, in Fox, or is it Fox that owns X-Men?
Yeah, Fox owns X-Men. But yeah, they're a universe unto themselves as far as the movies are concerned. If you were to bring in the X-Men now, I've actually been saying this since like the first Avengers movie. If you were to bring in the X-Men post first Avengers movie, those movies would get so bloated that you just couldn't watch them.
Well, here's the thing though. You don't do. I mean, you can have your X-Men, and you can have your Avengers. You don't have to have the X-Men and Avengers team up.
Yeah. Right
away. Now they're saying the third Avengers movie is just going to have like 100 characters in it. Like, I'm fucking it. Yeah, fucking it.
Yeah, right.
But the thing is, like, Marvel has now been building up this Inhuman stuff, which is basically there are Inhumans in the comics.
It's their workaround for the mutants, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Since they can't put the X-Men in there, this is their workaround. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man, this was
sorry, a Star Wars thing popped up on his computer. Did you see the Rogue One trailer?
Oh yeah,
it was great. I wasn't dreading it, and I wasn't really looking forward to it. I was kind of in a neutral space with Rogue One.
I want to know how they preserved the actress that played Mon Mothma. Did they freeze her? Did they freeze her after the first movie?
Maybe it's like her kid or something.
It looks just like her.
Is
it CG? I mean, did they?
I don't know. It didn't look like it. After seeing that trailer, though, I am excited for this movie, and I have a lot more hate for YouTube commenters after seeing the trailer as well.
What were they saying? I didn't.
Oh God! YouTube and Twitter kind of blew up with why has it got to be another female character in the lead? It's like, if the movie's, I'm gonna echo.
Shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo. I think it's Dave or one of the guys from Midnight Screenings. I'm gonna echo what he said. If the movie's good, who the hell cares? But I mean, and there was another group declaring her a Mary Sue. The movie hasn't come out yet. Yeah. The movie isn't out. You haven't. Nobody has seen it.
It doesn't matter.
That as well. But you can't actually make a character judgment on a thing that you haven't seen.
It doesn't.
I love people. I do. But anyway, that Rogue One looks great.
Yeah, it looks great.
I'm actually looking forward to it now.
Me too.
I was kind of neutral toward it, but now I really want to see it because it looks really cool.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, it looks like it's going to be this kind of gritty war movie a little bit.
Maybe? I don't...
I've been wanting Star Wars to drop the lightsabers, not necessarily get rid of them, but I've been wanting to see more from Star Wars in the movies where they're not focusing on the Jedi, because I personally don't think the Jedi are terribly interesting. They can be, but they're not always. And maybe explore some of those gray areas that the movies don't really dig into much. So I'm definitely.
I would watch Rebels then, if I were you.
I've heard good things about it.
It's great.
I have not seen it yet.
Really great.
I kind of got wary of it because I remember when the Clone Wars series came out, they released it in this really weird episode order that threw off everything, and I couldn't follow it. And I was just like, I'm gonna
pre-Disney.
Yeah.
Disney kind of knows what they're doing with it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a direct sequel to Clone Wars too, which is great.
Oh, okay.
Clone Wars was good. I mean, Clone Wars isn't my favorite thing, but I do think watching Clone Wars, the cartoon, actually made the prequels better.
What made the prequels not better, but more acceptable for me was Republic Commando.
I never played that one.
I still think they're garbage, the prequels, but
no, they're not good movies.
If those prequel movies didn't exist, Republic Commando wouldn't exist. So I'm okay with it now.
The thing about the Clone Wars cartoon is it kind of helps to flesh out the whole Anakin's descent to the dark side a bit. And plus, the Anakin in the Clone Wars cartoon is completely different than the Anakin in the movies.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Like when you hear like he was the greatest pilot I ever knew. Like you watch the Clone Wars, like okay, yeah, right.
Okay, yeah, because that was the biggest failing of the prequel movies that we're talking about in this Batman Superman movie discussion. The biggest failing of the prequels movies was they never once captured that look on Obi-Wan's face in A New Hope when he said Anakin was a good friend, and he's just sort of looking off into that distance of memory and remembering his friend. And actually, this will probably come up again in the next episode where we're going to talk about The Dark Knight. Because
we're talking about Star Wars when we watch The Dark Knight?
Yes, because, and I'll save this for next time, The Dark Knight does the Anakin turn brilliantly.
Okay, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, so I look forward to this.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't like The Dark Knight.
I do.
I don't think it's a good movie at all.
I love it.
And I'm gonna give a little taste. I dare say it's got the worst Batman. And I'll tell you why.
Actually, I can agree with that.
And I'll tell you why.
I can agree with that.
I did talk earlier in Batman v Superman about how Batman kills people.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna say that. You know, when you go back and you look like the Tim Burton Batman, the Michael Keaton Batman, he kills people in that.
He straight up
movie.
murdered people.
He killed a few people. I'm not gonna lie. And when you get to the Nolan Batman, yeah, there's the gray area of Ra's al Ghul, where like I don't have to save you.
Yeah.
You kind of do. But in The Dark Knight, he kills dogs, and that's way worse.
That is
way worse. Bad. He kills some dogs.
But I do love that movie. Not as a superhero movie so much as I think it's a really good crime movie that a superhero happens to be in.
No.
And it's also...
I don't even think it's very well made.
It's my favorite Joker. I'll be honest. My favorite Joker.
More than Mark Hamill.
Okay, they're like right here. Right.
There's no... Mark Hamill is the best Joker.
Mark Hamill is greatness.
But
I don't
mind Heath Ledger's performance.
Mm-hmm.
It's everything else around him.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about it next.
Yeah, we'll get into that next time.
All right, so I'm done. You done?
I'm done. Yeah.
All right.
Batman Superman movie is awesome, good fun, brought back a lot of nostalgic feelings.
Let's point this out.
Yeah, the Batman Superman movie. It's the one where Batman.
The world's finest is what it's called.
Okay. If you want to differentiate them, this is the Batman and Superman crossover movie where they fight for a minute, and Lex Luthor's in it.
Yeah, real Lex Luthor.
Yeah, that's how you tell the difference. Lex Luthor's in it, and Batman and Superman fight each other.
All right, bye guys.